Hi, I'm Sally and this is my Carnation tutorial. You will need bands for the petals in whatever colours you want to do them in. I've done, as you can see, two colours on here. I've done turquoise and pink, and then a purple and a white on this one. Or you can just do one solid colour like this pink one. Today I'm going to be doing red, and you'll also need green for the stem. So let's get started. Okay, first I'll show you how to make the petals. So taking a single band, I'm going to go vertically on your loom. Taking double bands, you're going to go from the side second to the centre second, and then same on the other side, like this. And then we're going to go from the centre second to the centre third, and then same the other side to make a diamond shape. Like so. And then we're going to place a cap band on this pin here. So taking a single band, you're going to wrap it around this pin 3 times. So that's 2 and 3, like this. And then we're going to loop up. So going through the cap band, pushing it right back and taking the top 2 bands and looping them over. Same this side, through the cap band, push it back with the back of your hook and loop it over both bands. And then inside each of these side pins, you're going to take the 2 bands and loop them onto this pin. Like that. You may need to push your bands down to be able to get them all onto that pin, like this. And then taking your hook straight down this pin here, the centre second pin, pulling up the single band and looping it back onto this pin. Then taking the bottom band on that pin and looping it over, and then giving this one a tug to tighten it. And that's made a slip knot. Okay, then remove this from the loom. Tighten that band, just use to tie it off with. So you have something that looks like this, you can see. And then taking your hook, going in straight through your petal. So you've got it like this on your hook. Taking this band that you used to tie it off with, I wrap it around my hook to try and keep it on the hook while you're pulling through, and then pull it back through so that the band you used to tie off with is now hidden within your petal as best you can. I'm just going to do it again because I've still got a bit of a loop. So just take it on your hook and just pull them through. Then give it a little tug in all different directions. Give it a nice shape. Now, you will need 18 of these. So if you pause the video, make another 17, and then when you've finished, if you come back, and I'll show you how to make the centre and how to attach all the petals to it. So taking your loom, taking double bands and placing them loosely over the centre pin right at the end. Double bands again, and you're going diagonally, and then we're going to go along twice with double bands along the side. So 1 and 2. Just pushing that down because we've got a lot to get on these pins. Now we're going from this pin to the centre fourth, like so. And then we're going to copy this shape on the other side, so diagonally and then twice on the bottom and then diagonally to join this pin here. This is going to be sort of underside here of the flower. Like so. And now we're going to do a pattern similar to a starburst. So taking double bands, we want to go from the first centre to the second centre. So like this. And now we're going from this centre pin to the first side pin. And push them down. And now we're going to go from this centre pin out to this side pin. Now moving on to this centre pin here, so that is the third centre. We're going from this pin out to this pin here. And then from this centre pin to this centre pin. And then to this pin here. So just working around in a circle, and then to this centre pin here, this side pin there, sorry. Like that. Try and keep them straight and try not to let them cross over because it will make it easier when you come to loop it if they are straight. And then from this centre pin to this pin here. So you should have on each of your pins a band coming from a centre pin and out to the side, like so. Now we're going to place on the petals, all 18 of them, which sounds a lot, but it's not too bad. So taking all 18 of your petals, like this. You want to find the cap band, which when you made your diamond shape was, so if you have the tying band here and your cap band was here with the diamond shape here, you want that band that you wrapped around that pin. I'm going to use a slightly smaller hook than I have been using. So find your cap band, mine's just here, you can see that it's wrapped horizontally around. Slide your hook under that cap band and pull it out, so like this, and we're going to place that around this top pin where the two loose bands are, and you're going to go round all the way, placing one petal on each of the outer pins. So pulling out the cap band and stretching it out and putting it over each of those pins. And if you can hear that noise, it's my guinea pig having a drink, or possibly my neighbours outside talking. Sure, they wait until I'm trying to do a tutorial and the guinea pig starts and the neighbours start, but hopefully you can't hear them talking outside. So I'm just working all the way around. That isn't the cap band, that's the cap band just there. It will get very tricky, and when we come to loop, it's not the easiest design to loop, but I'm hoping that you agree the finished carnation is worth it. is quite difficult to do, but so good. I did have to do a few runs with this design because although I had the petals, the actual method of putting it all together was quite difficult and quite complicated and very fiddly. So I've come up with this way of doing it, which I think is the simplest way. And you're also placing them around the 2 centre pins, because otherwise you'll find that you have all your petals around the outside like a daisy flower and nothing in the centre. So we're placing around the centre pins as well. Like that. So if you've gone round and you've put 1 petal on each, this is what it should look like. And then we're going to go around again, around the outside, placing another petal on each pin. So still finding the cap band and stretching it out. Sorry, my arm's in the way. So you just want to put them so they're sort of sideways on to each other, or however which way you want to. So through the cap band and placing it over and finding the cap bands. It's there. So small in it. I find it sometimes very difficult to work out which band is which. But if you do struggle, if you just find where you've tied it off, and you'll know that the opposite end to that will be where your cap band is. So that's another way of doing it. And then we have 4 left, so these 4 pins. So you should have 2 on each of the outer pins and then 1 on each of the inner pins, the centre pins. So make sure you get all the loops on that cap band as well. Pushing it down. Stretching it out. Just slide that one around there. And then putting it on. And you may find that the bands that you've tucked in do come untucked, but don't worry too much about that at this stage. It's not the end of the world. It's easily rectified. And the cap band for this is there. So this is the last petal. That should be all your petals, if you've managed to keep up, which hopefully you have. So I hope I'm not moving too quickly for you. Probably moving too slowly for you. But use time just to check it all over. I mean, don't make any silly mistakes or miss anything out. So it should look a bit like this. The 2 petals around the outside, 1 on each of the middle ones, which also acts as a cap band, so you don't need to do any wrapping around that pin. So now we're going to loop. So starting on this centre pin here, so my 2 bands that I use to tie off with that are loose are on this pin, so the first centre pin, and you're going in and you're finding the first 2 green bands and you're pulling them round and tucking them over the pin which they came from. So we're just down here and we're going to do the same for the next 2, and we're going to go round and put it back on the pin where it came from. It's the same as you would do with a starburst. If you know how to do a starburst, this will help you. If you don't, then that's what I'm here for. And basically doing this isn't quite the same as a starburst because you have 2 centre pins rather than just 1, but it's the same idea. So there's the first centre pin done. We're We're going to do this one now. So again, reaching in through that band, your petal on, pulling the top two. I'm just checking I've got 3 there, so I'm just going to go in again, so I just get 2. There we go, holding that band on and looping over to the band which it came from, and hopefully there isn't too much tension on the centre pin so it's not too hard to loop over. Just try and stop your petal from getting caught in the green bands if you can. And looping round, holding that petal out of the way because you don't want it to get caught under one of the green bands. And popping it on and keeping it straight. And then again, the last one on the centre pins and pushing it down so it doesn't pop off. So you should have something like this once you've looped up all of the bands from the 2 centre pins. And now we're going to do around the outside. So if you laid it out the same as I did, finding the pin with the 2 loose bands, which should be the end one, you want to go in through that pin, or whichever pin you laid your last band on, pull back the petal band and find the top 2, which should be going from the centre pin towards the right. If you've done it differently, then just do it whichever way works for your loom, and then just very carefully pull it over to the pin where it's come from. And now I'm just going to put my hook in, and I'm just going to run around this loop just to relieve the tension on that band and hopefully stop it from breaking. And then you're working around in the opposite direction to the way you put them on. So if you, the same as me, started here and then worked all the way around like this, you want to go now this way. Excuse me. So going in, pushing back these bands, it is very tight, finding the bottom 2 green bands and looping them round very carefully and hooking them over, and then relieve any tension in your bands if you need to, if it is tight. Mine certainly is. And then again, and you're going to work your way all the way around. Move the petals out of the way if you have to, if it makes it easier for you. And this is the most difficult part of this design, just because of the difficulty in being able to see what you're doing and the tension on the pins. So again, going in, pushing those bands out the way, hooking up the bottom 2 and looping it round. You can loosen the bands before you hook it if you need to, which I think I'm going to have to on this pin, or I'm going to have a broken band or 2. So just putting it in and loosening it. There we go. And then hooking it over, and I'm just going to run the hook around again just to make sure, and then down to this pin down here and pushing all of the bands. Sorry, I'm just going to have to tip this towards me so I can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to swap my hook as well because this one's bigger and has a bit more clout behind it when it comes to pushing the bands back. And then the next pin. Just make sure you're not looping up ones that have gone through the centre cap band. So just push them right out of the way and pull them up around your pin. Push them, flip them over, like so. You can see how tight these bands are as I'm having to use like a fist. Hold the thing like this, to the hook like that, just to get the go around all the bands. She's not a very ladylike way of doing it, but needs must. And this is the last band to be hooked on around the centre. So once you've done it, it should look like this. And now we're going to take these two bands, pull them to the side so they go between two of the petals, whichever way you want to do it. I'm doing it towards the left. And hold it around your finger. Now taking your hook through this top centre pin, going all the way down and again pushing back all of those bands. You want to find those bottom two bands, which are these bands here. Take it around your pin and putting it over your hook. So you should have something like this with both ends of the band on. Just going to move that petal out of the way. And then you want to make a slip knot, so taking the top bands and putting them over the bottom bands, give it a gentle tug, like so. If you're worried your bands are going to break, then just tighten them slightly and then just hold on to them or tuck them underneath the pin until you've removed it from your loom, and then you can tighten them afterwards. So we're just going to remove this from the loom. So taking your hook, you might find it easiest just because of the tightness of the bands. Just remove it all from the loom. Like so. Now you should have a funny fuzzy looking thing that looks nothing like a carnation. So your bottom two bands, the bands that are in the centre, have pushed their way through to the back. So just push them back through so that they are the right way up and give them a little tug. And now it's just a case of giving it tugs in different directions so that it hides the centre green ring and gives you that sort of more gathered and layered type look that carnations have. So you just have to play with it until it looks right and how you want it to look. And once you get to that stage, which I'm going to play with it once I finish this tutorial, because I think you've probably got the idea of what you need to do. So I'm going to show you how to do the stem, and then you can go back and you can fiddle with this afterwards and get it to resemble more of a carnation, but it will look more sort of scrunched and pushed together like this once it's finished. At the moment it looks like that, which isn't too bad. So taking this tying off band, you're going to bury that and hide it within this ring here. So just push your hook through some of these bands and just tuck this in like so. And then I'm going to show you how to make the stem. So place your flower head to one side and taking your loom. If you don't want it to have a stem, then stop now if you just want the flower head. But as this design, as I said before, has a stem, I'm going to show you how to do it. And then it's optional to you whether you want to leave it on or not. It's double bands, and you're going right the way down one side of your loom. So just like you were making a bracelet or anything, just straight down. With whichever colour green or whichever colour you used to do the centre of your flower. So we're going all the way down till you can't go any further. So, and then when you get to the bottom, normally you'd add a cap band onto this pin. We're going to add the flower head. So taking your hook, you want to slide your hook, try not, you can use these bands, don't worry about these bands being here, through one side of the green and then straight through and out to the other side, like so. And then you're going to have to tug that and pull that. And my hook bands have come undone. You can possibly even hook those in to secure them if you wish, which I'm going to do. And you want to put where you've got your finger or your hook through here. It's going to go on that end pin here. Like this. And then we're just going to loop all the way back up, so going inside your flower head here, finding the band, you're just going to pull up, hold the head down, pull up those two bands, and then that won't come off now, that's held in place. I'm just going to hook all the way up to the end. So it's looped with the flower head attached all the way down to the end where you started. Then just take a single green band to match your stem, taking your hook, going, let me show you this way, might be clearer for you. Taking your hook, you're going all the way through and out the side, so your hook's sticking through, and then you're going to take a single green band, put it over your hook, and then just put it through and loop it round and place it over your hook so it looks like this. And then we're just going to make a slip knot with that band and give it a tug. And once you've done that, you can remove it from your loom. And you can tuck this band in the stem if you don't want it sticking out at the end. If you want the stem to be longer, then once you've done this bit, instead of tying it off, make another length down your loom with the double bands, and then just slide these two bands here before it was tied over the end of the last one. And then you can make it a bit longer if you want to. I think this is quite a nice length for a stem. Just tuck it away. So, like I say, you just need to manoeuvre the petals around a little bit until it's as you want it to look. I think you get the idea of what I mean. And they're not going to do it now while I'm trying to show you. They're going to be awkward. But that sort of idea. So there's your carnation. I hope you've enjoyed making it. I do have other flower tutorials on my channel. There is a clematis flower and a daisy flower and a daffodil flower as well, if you'd like to take a look at those. I am on Instagram if you'd like to share your finished creations with me, at Sally's Looming. If you'd like to tag me in your pictures, that would be great. Also like, subscribe and comment to let me know what you think of this video and this design. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!